You know what's killing most people inside? The need to control everything, the constant urge to make everything go their way, to force outcomes, to make people act right, to bend life into their perfect picture. And let me tell you this, the quickest way to drain your energy, to lose your peace, is to attach yourself to things you can't control. That's where the frustration lives. That's where the anxiety grows. That's where disappointment becomes your best friend, because you're trying to hold on to what was never meant to be in your hands in the first place. See, when you understand what's really in your control, life gets lighter. You stop wasting energy chasing situations. You stop begging for people's approval. You stop stressing over outcomes that were never yours to control anyway. You start realizing that the only thing you have full ownership of is your mindset and your effort, your choices, and how you respond. That's it. And the day you accept that, you'll unlock a freedom most people never experience. Think about how many times you've sat up late at night, replaying conversations in your head, wishing you said something different, wishing they understood you better, wishing they hadn't walked away, wishing life had gone another direction. That cycle eats people alive. But when you detach from that need to rewrite what's already written, you begin to move different. You stop living in what if, and you start living in what now. And that's the shift right there, moving from trying to control the past and future into owning this exact moment. And let me make this clear, detachment doesn't mean you don't care. Detachment doesn't mean you become cold, numb, or disconnected from life. It means you care in the right way. You care enough to give your best, but you're not destroyed when things don't play out the way you imagined. You care enough to love people, but you don't lose yourself when people disappoint you. You care enough to dream big, but you don't break down when the first plan fails. Detachment is strength. It's balance. It's the discipline of giving everything while still being okay if the outcome doesn't match your expectation. That's why some people are miserable in life. They've attached their worth to things outside of themselves. They feel valuable only if someone else validates them. They feel powerful only if life looks exactly like their fantasy. They feel strong only when people clap for them. But the moment those things shift, the moment people stop clapping, the moment the outcome doesn't go their way, they crumble. That's not power, that's slavery to circumstances. Real power is when you can stand tall, whether they cheer for you or whether they boo you. Real power is when you can keep walking whether doors open or doors slam in your face. Real power is knowing that you don't have to control what happens. You just have to control how you move through it. Every storm doesn't need your resistance. Some storms require your release. Every loss doesn't need to break you. Some losses are redirecting you. And every outcome doesn't need to define you. Some outcomes are teaching you. The more you detach from what's not yours to carry, the more energy you'll have to build the life you want. So stop trying to control the uncontrollable. Stop letting your peace depend on other people's behavior. Stop letting your joy depend on outcomes you can't force. Focus on what you can control, your effort, your growth, your character. That's where your power lies. And once you lock into that, nothing outside of you can shake you. Because the moment you let go of what you can't control, you become unstoppable. Most people don't realize how heavy the chains are until they try to move without them. And I'm not talking about physical chains. I'm talking about emotional ones. The ones that keep you tied to people, to situations, to feelings that no longer serve you. Those attachments become prisons, and you don't even see the bars because you think it's just normal life. You think it's normal to be consumed by who likes you, who left you, who betrayed you, what you lost, what you didn't get. But the truth is, when your emotions are chained to all those things, you are not free. Let me tell you, emotional freedom is the real wealth. Emotional freedom is the real success. You can have money, you can have fame, you can have everything people chase. But if you're still bound by what people say, if you're still controlled by rejection, if you're still broken by loss, you are poor inside. And I've seen too many people with everything on the outside, but nothing on the inside, because they never learned the power of detachment. Now listen, detachment is not about becoming cold. It's not about shutting down your heart. It's about strength. It's about knowing how to love without losing yourself. It's about being able to give without expecting someone else to fill you back up. It's about walking through setbacks without letting them shatter who you are. That's the difference between someone who survives life and someone who thrives in life. Think about this. How many times have you seen people collapse because of rejection? One person walks away and their entire identity crumbles. One business fails and they never try again. One betrayal and they can't trust anyone for years. That's not living. That's being chained to emotions that were never meant to control you. The truth is, rejection is protection. Failure is redirection. Betrayal is revelation. But you'll never see it if you're emotionally attached to the pain instead of the lesson. When you master detachment, you learn to feel everything, but to be controlled by nothing. You can feel hurt, but not let hurt dictate your next move. You can feel love, but not lose yourself in the process. You can feel disappointment, but still have the courage to stand back up. That's emotional mastery. That's freedom. And once you taste that freedom, you'll never go back to being chained. Because here's the reality: emotions are temporary, but decisions are permanent. If you make permanent choices based on temporary feelings, you'll spend your life trapped in regret. Detachment gives you space. It allows you to step back, breathe, and respond instead of react. And when you live like that, you stop being at the mercy of every wave that comes your way. The storm may rage, but you remain calm. The winds may blow, but you stay rooted. The world may turn its back on you, but you don't lose your identity because it was never tied to them in the first place. Don't confuse detachment with apathy. Apathy is when you stop caring altogether. Detachment is when you care deeply, but you're not enslaved by the outcome. That's strength. That's maturity. That's what makes you untouchable. Because people can leave, things can change, life can throw blows, but none of it has the power to break you when your emotions are no longer in their hands. So here's the question you've got to ask yourself: are you chained or are you free? Are you still tied to the pain of your past, the validation of people, the fear of losing what you love? Or have you learned how to walk with strength, knowing that no matter what happens around you, you are still you, you are still whole, you are still moving forward? Because once you break those emotional chains, no setback, no rejection, and no loss will ever have the power to stop you again. One of the biggest reasons people never reach their potential is because they let their feelings run the show. And feelings are unreliable. One day you wake up motivated and you feel like you can take on the world. The next day you wake up tired, discouraged, and you don't even want to get out of bed. If you live your life being directed by those highs and lows, you will never build anything that lasts. Detachment teaches you how to separate your discipline from your emotions, how to stay locked in on your purpose, no matter how you feel in the moment. See, discipline is doing it anyway. Discipline is showing up when you don't want to. Discipline is moving forward when the excitement is gone, when the applause is silent, when nobody is watching. And the only way you can develop that kind of consistency is by learning detachment. Because when you detach, you stop waiting for the right mood. You stop needing the perfect time. You stop depending on temporary emotion to fuel permanent commitment. Think about it. How many dreams have died because someone didn't feel like it? How many goals have been abandoned because the excitement wore off? How many people have walked away from something great simply because they allowed temporary emotions to convince them it wasn't worth it anymore? That's why detachment is so powerful. It gives you the ability to push past the noise inside your head, to silence the excuses, and to do what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. When you're detached, you stop letting failure discourage you. You stop letting success make you lazy. You stop letting opinions distract you. You're locked in. You understand that emotions come and go, but your purpose stays. Your mission doesn't care how you feel. Your destiny doesn't wait for your mood to catch up. The world doesn't stop spinning because you're tired, angry, or unmotivated. And if you really want to win, you can't stop either. Detachment sharpens your focus. It's like tunnel vision. While everybody else is running in circles, chasing highs, avoiding discomfort, you're steady. You're consistent. You're disciplined. You're not chasing motivation. You're driven by commitment. And when you live like that, it doesn't matter how long it takes. It doesn't matter how many setbacks come. It doesn't matter who walks away. You're still moving. That's what separates the ones who almost made it from the ones who do. And let me tell you something. Detachment will make you stronger than you've ever been because nothing outside of you can shake you. You're not swayed by rejection. You're not distracted by praise. You're not broken by failure. You're not blinded by success. You've trained yourself to show up regardless. And that's the key. Showing up when it's hard, showing up when it's boring, showing up when no one is clapping. That's how champions are made. So if you're serious about growth, you've got to stop waiting to feel like it. Stop depending on the rush of excitement. Stop letting emotions dictate your consistency. Detach from that roller coaster and lock into the bigger picture. Because the truth is, your future doesn't care how you feel right now. Your purpose doesn't care if you're tired. Your mission doesn't care if you're discouraged. It only responds to your discipline, your effort, and your consistency. Because when you learn how to detach from feelings and commit to focus, nothing, no setback, no excuse, no emotion will be strong enough to stop you. One of the hardest things for people to detach from is the noise, the opinions, the judgments, the whispers, the expectations that the world tries to throw on you every single day. And the truth is, most people are not living their own lives. They're living the life that other people told them they should live. They're moving in directions that other people approved of. They're chasing dreams that don't even belong to them. And all of that happens because they're attached to noise. Let me tell you, the loudest voices aren't always the right ones. Just because everybody has something to say doesn't mean their words carry any truth about who you are or where you're going. If you let the opinions of others shape you, you'll always be pulled in 1,000 directions. You'll never feel grounded. You'll never feel clear. You'll never feel at peace. Detachment is about rising above all that noise. It's about saying, I hear you, but I don't need to live by your voice. I don't need your approval to validate my mission. I don't need your applause to keep moving. A noise will have you doubting yourself when you are already on the right track. Noise will have you second guessing your gift when you were born with everything you need. Noise will have you slowing down because you're worried about who's watching, when the truth is most of them don't even care. They're just projecting their own fears onto you. That's why silence is powerful. Not the kind of silence where you're weak or scared to speak up, but the silence where you're untouchable. The silence where you move in your own lane without explaining, without defending, without begging for understanding. When you learn to detach from the noise, you stop living for likes, you stop living for validation, you stop living for the approval of people who wouldn't even show up for you if you fell. You start realizing that the only voice you need to hear is the one inside of you, the one that knows your purpose, the one that knows the fire in your heart, the one that doesn't change based on who's clapping or who's criticizing. And listen, the noise never goes away. People will always talk. They'll talk when you're failing. They'll talk when you're winning. They'll talk when you're quiet. They'll talk when you're loud. You can't shut the world up, but you can rise above it. You can detach from it. You can get to a place where their words don't shake you, their judgments don't define you, and their expectations don't control you. That's the freedom detachment gives. Because the truth is, the moment you let go of the need to please everybody, you gain the power to become anybody. The moment you stop chasing acceptance, you start living authentically. The moment you detach from the noise, you finally hear your own vision loud and clear. And that's when you move different. That's when you start building a life that feels right to you, not just a life that looks right to them. So stop letting the noise distract you. Stop letting opinions shape you. Stop letting the world drown out your own voice. Step into that silence, rise above the chatter, and walk your own path. Because once you detach from the noise, you gain the clarity, the focus, and the strength to live fully on your own terms.